but Webb deserves to be there. Webb was awesome, dude. Webb was so awesome, he was boring. That's how awesome Richmond Webb was. He was boring. Boring as a mofo. And I mean this in the most complimentary way you could ever mean boring. And what I mean by boring is he made it look effortless. He handled adversity effortless. Like shit is like, everybody's panicking. You got the media in the locker room. It's a bad loss. Richmond Webb's not the guy throwing chairs and mother effing. And no, he is calm, cool, and collective. He's the same Richmond Webb if they won the game, if they lost the game, if they won by 30, if they lost by 30. It didn't matter. And he wasn't out there touting his horn or tooting his horn, that is. If he had a pancake block, if he had a key block, if he had a great game, if he had a great season, he was boring. He just never brought any color to the game. None. There was no personality. There was no, he was Barkov before Kachuk. Okay, because Barkov post Kachuk, you know what I'm saying? But Richmond Webb never had a Kachuk in his life to bring, oh, yes, bring all that personality out. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, in fact, Richmond shows more personality now on Twitter than he ever did in his playing career. He is way more colorful on his Twitter feed than he ever was in his playing career. And he just made it look easy. And then never, ever said anything about it. He let the rest of us talk. That's what it was. Like pure class, bro. Like, there's class and then there's Richmond Webb. Okay? That's it's above class. If you say, oh, this guy's got Richmond Webb, then he's classier than classier. You know what I'm saying? That's who Richmond Webb is. And that's why maybe he's not in the Hall of Fame. Because he didn't pump himself up. He wasn't colorful. He didn't have this outgoing personality. He didn't openly challenge defensive ends. He didn't do anything. He just lined his ass up, blocked the guy in front of him, and lined his ass up and blocked the guy in front of him and didn't say a peep, dude. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. If he was hurt, he wasn't going to say anything. If he was happy, he wasn't going to say anything. If he won, he wasn't going to say anything. If he lost, he wasn't going to say anything. If there was controversy, he wasn't going to say anything. You know what I'm saying? He was boring. And I think that might be it has to be a contributing factor. Let's put it that way. It's not the reason he's not in, but it has to be a contributing factor. Because Richmond Webb just went about his business. And we did a shitty job of allowing him to do that. We should have done a louder job while he did it. Media, fans, team, everybody. We should have been tooting his horn since he wasn't going to do any of it. And to this day, he won't do any of it. That's Richmond Webb. Anybody that's met Richmond, nobody could ever say a bad word about Richmond Webb. ever. If somebody tells you something negative about Richmond Webb, then you know that person, there's something wrong with that person. It's not a good person because it's impossible. It's literally impossible to say something bad, to have a bad experience with Richmond Webb. It's literally impossible. So I'm gonna go that way with Richmond Webb, and he should be the guy that I would put in the Hall of Fame.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.